So I've received some questions in regards to what coaching is, what coaching isn't, what type of coaching I do, as well as like what's the difference between coaching and therapy and things like that. So I thought I'd do a quick video to answer those questions for you. Hope you enjoy.
If you are in trauma right now, if you're experiencing trauma, I believe that you need to go to therapy. And here's the thing, therapy is an ongoing thing. You don't have to be experiencing acute trauma all the time or anytime that you go see a therapist. It's just like you go to the doctor, you go there for a checkup. You want to make sure that you're in good, tip-top shape, physically as well as emotionally. And so that's why a therapist is just always just a good thing to have in general. But if you are experiencing that trauma, that you're not able to really even see anything else, it's only this trauma or it's only this specific crisis, a therapist, I believe, is really the best way to go. If you are wanting to go with a coach, for me, it's usually someone who is feeling this sense of discomfort. There's just like this gnawing thing where you're like, I'm feeling uncomfortable. I don't know what it is exactly. I know that I want more than this. Something is just not right. There's something missing. And I believe that that's usually the person who is going to do really well with coaching. Now, the way that I approach coaching is peer-to-peer. I'm not coming into the situation with all the power, with all the answers. I don't believe that I have that. I believe you have that. And that's why I do what's called excavation. I believe every client holds their own power, their own truth, and their own answers. And what my job is to ask those questions and to listen to you in a way that I'm able to dig deeper to figure out what the actual root of the problem is so that we can uncover it, release the pattern, and move forward with action steps that are going to actually get you to experience the life that you want now. I do have a method, and I call it the Frey method, which is actually based off of Frey meditations that I created a couple years ago. And so what it stands for, F, forgiveness. And before you start getting all like, girl, look, they deserve exactly what they got. I'm not forgiving nobody for what they did. I get it. But the thing is that forgiveness is not just, I forgive you for doing this thing to me and now we just go about our business and we forget everything. That's not what it's about. Forgiveness is the aspect and forgiveness is the action of letting go. Letting go ideas that are no longer true or were never true. Letting go of stories that are no longer true or were never true. Letting go of just lies in general. Because through childhood, growing up, we've experienced trauma, we've experienced things that cause us to not believe who we were really created to be. And so when you release those things, then it allows you to go to what's next. Reconciliation, reconciling yourself back to yourself. And that's the fun work. That's where you really start to dig into and get deeper into what it is that you actually want. Those desires you have were created for you to fulfill. No one else has those same desires. No one but you. And if you have those desires, you were created to fulfill those desires. You were created to go to your full potential. And so that's the excavation work that I was talking about in regards to digging up all those lies, getting all those things up off of you so that you can actually see what's present. You can see what's there. And then you have the aspect of amplification. That's A. So now that you have reconciled yourself to yourself, now it's time to amplify that in the world by taking up space. Take up space. You can just show up as your truest, authentic self. That creates power and it shifts things for you. And then the why is really living your best life. So here's the thing. We tend to get to a space where I have a goal. I want to get this car. I want to get this money. I want to get this woman. I want to get this man. I want to get. There's absolutely nothing wrong with those things. It's fantastic. Why not? It's here. It's clearly created for us to experience, right? The thing that we don't seem to connect is that the reason why we want those things is because we think it's going to give us a feeling once we get it. It's going to satiate, it's going to satisfy something in us once we get it. But here's the thing. I don't want to wait 6 months for me to hit that goal, for me to feel that way. So how do you get that daily? I actually really want to know. I want you to think about that. When's the last time that you woke up feeling like, oh my God, today's about to just be, I don't even know, I'm just so excited. You know exactly what it is you were here to do. You know exactly what it is that you want. And you know that you were created to experience abundance, joy, fun, excitement, exhilaration, love, just everything. That is what you were created to experience. And when you're not experiencing that, that's when those emotions come that are negative. So you get to use your emotions as a device, as an indicator to say, how far away am I from where I know I'm really supposed to be? And I like to call it like hot and cold. I remember I was walking one day because I was just feeling angry. It was the same stories going on, like I can't do these things, I'm too stupid, I clearly don't have the ability to do X, Y, Z. And I'm just walking and I'm angry. And then it dropped into me, in my head, where it was like, it's because you're getting colder. Your emotions are indicators. So when you're feeling some kind of way and you're like, I'm feeling a little bit of agitation, I'm feeling a little bit of frustration, that's letting you know you're getting colder. It doesn't mean to wallow in it. It doesn't mean that anything's wrong with you. It doesn't mean any of those things. And once you start to examine that and not allow it to go down to that spiral, once you start to feel it, we all have patterns. We go there, it is what it is. But instead of spiraling, ask yourself, what just happened that caused me to feel that? What just happened that caused me to feel like I wasn't enough? What just happened that caused me to feel like I can't be successful? That's not for me. What just happened to fill in the blank? And when you get curious, you'll start to shift your pattern. And when you get curious, that means that there's opportunity. And that's what you want. You want opportunity. You want opportunity to see something different. You want opportunity for clarity. You want opportunity to recognize, like, oh my God, that's actually not what I want. I want this. And so here's the exciting thing too. Many of us don't know what we want on the surface. It takes some time because we're just covered with all this muck, right? And that's what the excavation is about. But the things that you know you don't want is actually a really good indicator of what you do want. It's a very simple place to start. So anyone who is doing any work with me as a client, we show up with a commitment of being authentic, of being transparent, and being vulnerable on both sides. You will hear some of my most vulnerable experiences if I believe that it's necessary for you to get to where you need to go, for it to unlock something for you to move forward. Anyone that I work with needs to be prepared to do the work. If you're not there yet, that's okay. If you are there and you're willing to do the work and you're willing to get uncomfortable, because let me tell you, any sort of work that you do is going to be uncomfortable. If you don't have some sense of discomfort because you're moving out of that typical comfort zone, which is a pattern, if you don't have that sense of discomfort, then you're actually not going anywhere. It's a good sign that you're moving into a good space. When you have this aspect of risk, a little bit of fear, not in the fear of like I'm running from a lion, but like I'm moving out of what is safe and comfortable for me. And that's where the magic happens. That's where the good stuff happens. That's when you start to recognize and realize that truest self of yours. That's when you get to see what is real. That's when you get to actually prove to yourself your ability to do what it is that you want to do. That's the exciting stuff. And then once we deal with all those things, then we go to the next step, which is action steps. Small action steps that begin to just shift. It doesn't have to be these huge things. It's small action steps that get you moving towards the life that you know you deserve. So, if you are interested again in a discovery call, a clarity call to see whether or not we would be able to work well together, or just to answer some of your questions that I might not have answered on this video. Go ahead and I'll put a link in here for you to set up some time on my calendar, and we'll take it from there. I look forward to hearing from all of you.